Do you have what it takes to be a professional speaker? We'll find out today on Living by Design. Tony Lamont presents Living by Design with host Kathy Holloway Hill. Kathy is a strong, powerful voice. She entertains, informs, and inspires her audiences everywhere she goes.
Hi, and welcome to Living by Design. You've got Kathy Holloway Hill here, and you know, on the Living by Design show, our purpose is to make sure that your life is designed exactly the way you want it to be so that you can live according to your purpose. Well, today's show is going to discuss professional speakers. Are you a professional speaker? Do you want to be a professional speaker? Should you be a professional speaker? There is a lot that goes into being an effective, a great professional speaker. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because we have Miss Pam Burks here with us. And Pam, I am going to let you talk about your role in NSA, because I know NSA is kind of like the Screen Actors Guild for actors and entertainers. The NSA is that for speakers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, let me first of all start by saying NSA stands for the National Speakers Association.
Yes.
And it is an organization that is both national through the U.S. as well as globally throughout the world, with each of the different organizations having a different name. The one within the United States is the National Speakers Association.
Okay.
And that particular organization is all about the business of building a business. And so for professional speakers, that's where we go for our professional development, as well as learning more about how to run a business and becoming a better platform speaker.
Right. And when you say how to run a business, you're talking about a speaking business.
A speaking business, correct.
Okay, great. Now, what is your role? Because I know you have a national position with the organization. So talk about that.
Well, within NSA, I've served a number of both national as well as state chapter roles. Within NSA currently, I'm involved at the chapter level.
Okay.
I also am a past chair of what's called the Chapter Leadership Committee, which is all the various chapters throughout the country who come together as a group, and we help the chapters in their growth and development. I've also hosted something called Voices of Experience, which is an audio magazine.
I have that.
Do you have that?
Of course.
It's put out on an almost monthly basis,
Yes.
10 times a year.
Yes.
And that's where various speakers are interviewed so that they can help again in the professional development of other speakers. And so I've been a co-host of that in the past.
That is absolutely awesome. I love that. Now, Pam, I hate to say this, but I have to keep it real for my viewers because I really want you all to succeed. We both know that everyone is not a good speaker. Even though they may want to be, they're just not a good speaker. So let's kind of talk about that. At what point do you believe a person should say, yes, I'm going to go down this path, or no, maybe this is not for me?
One of the things that is an adage within NSA is, don't quit your day job until you have enough speaking appearances and enough income through speaking to be able to pay your bills.
I like that.
So the don't quit your day job is kind of a good rule of thumb to follow. And when you're getting started, unless you have come out of an environment like you've been a radio or TV broadcaster and already have an audience, you're going to need to start that somehow. And so for those people who want to get started in the business, we usually suggest they start with Toastmasters, which is another national and international organization that's really about the learning how to craft a speech, learning how to engage the audience, learning how to do the 3 key points in a speech, how to do the wrap up, how to engage people, how to add humor, because another adage in NSA is, do you need humor in your presentation? Well, only if you want to get paid.
Amen.
And that is what we're all about, paid professional speaking.
Yes.
So I think starting with Toastmasters, and then as you get to the point that you're ready to learn how to develop a business, then it's time to become a member of NSA. And we can attend NSA events as a guest. You don't have to be a member, but there's a chance to attend as a guest. So we may have some of your viewers who would like to be able to attend a local chapter meeting somewhere around the country.
Now, you mentioned that there are chapters all around the country. When you say chapters, you're talking about different cities, right?
Different cities.
Yeah.
Some states have one. Other states may have 2 or 3 different chapters throughout their state, depending on their size and the concentration of the population.
Don't you believe, or if you don't believe, that's fine, give me your thoughts, your opinion. When you're first starting out and you've just been through Toastmasters, or you've learned some skills, or you've learned some things, shouldn't you do a few free speaking events first just to get yourself out there and be known?
Absolutely. When I'm either coaching or mentoring new speakers, I will say to them, go out and speak with your local service clubs.
Yes.
Contact Rotary or Kiwanis or Optimus and volunteer to speak. Get out there and get so much experience that when you step up on the platform, the fear is gone, those butterflies know how to get aligned in your stomach,
Amen.
And you're able to feel comfortable and confident. That's step 1. And then step 2 is, of course, learning how to build a business. Right. How do you market yourself? Do you have the tenacity to stick with it on some of those days when maybe you'd rather put the covers over your head?
Right.
And be able to really put together a business. Again, NSA is the business of building a business.
That's right.
And for me, NSA has been probably the most community that I've ever had outside of a place of worship, and the absolute best professional development I've ever had outside of IBM training.
Excellent. Now, I want to say this for all of you out there who are watching, and I know you're loving this conversation about NSA because it is the premier organization for professional speakers.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've had people that you know, the Les Browns, the Willie Jollies, and probably some other names that you could put out there who are members, and they're in the Hall of Fame. They're in the Speakers Hall of Fame through NSA. It's not an organization where you can say, hey, I'm a speaker, I want to join. Talk about the criteria that is needed to become a member.
Excellent question.
Thank you.
There are 3 ways in which you can qualify to become a national NSA member.
Yes.
And you must be a national member before you can join your local chapter.
Right.
Although, as I mentioned, you can attend both national and local events as a guest.
Right.
So criteria 1 would be at least 20 paid professional speeches throughout the year.
Yes.
2 would be $25,000 in speaking revenue. That's not your book and product, but that's actually $25,000 in speaking revenue.
Your speaker's fee that you get paid to speak.
Very good. And then the last way is if you happen to be a corporate or a company or an association or foundation paid professional speaker for that organization, so that your, let's say, foundation would write a letter saying, yes, we pay a salary and that is what this individual does. So they're on the platform all the time speaking, representing us. So 3 different ways to qualify.
That's great. And I wanted to get that out there so that people could understand. I know there's tons of networking organizations. There's NABO and there's eWomen Network, and there's so many different organizations that people can join to network, but this is not something you can just join. This is something you actually have to qualify for. So, Pam, you have just been a wealth of knowledge, and I just really appreciate you sitting here speaking to us, helping our viewers. You're going to be joining us in the 3rd segment because we're going to talk to the local chapter president, and then we're going to get into a little bit more. So we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot more coming up on Living by Design. Hi, and welcome back to Living by Design. I am having the best time. I am now here with Carl Ulrichs, and he is the local NSA chapter president for the state of Indiana.
I am.
Welcome to Living by Design, Carl.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to start off by asking you to just explain a little bit, now you have to go into great detail, but a little bit about the local chapter and how the local chapters differ from what Pam mentioned in the first segment about the national level.
National meetings are great.
Okay.
They're in other cities and take a lot of planning. The local chapter is exactly what you're thinking. A local resource of face-to-face gathering of a high quality peer group where you have people, like-minded people, who learn from each other. And the goal is that the people in the room share.
Yes.
What is it? A rising tide lifts all boats. You know, we learn a lot by sharing from each other.
Yes.
And we're really sharing four things. It's kind of like a chord on a piano, where we share each other's expertise. We work with each other on platform skills. That's the eloquence.
Love it.
We remind each other to keep the integrity high, the ethics. And then it's really about the business of speaking, where Toastmasters is excellent. I know Pam had mentioned that, on getting your platform skills headed in the right direction.
Right.
So when you're in the National Speakers Association meeting here at the local chapter, we assume you can speak. We don't assume you can monetize it properly and expand your impact. We're speakers. Why? Well, we want other people, it kind of aligns with your Living by Design idea. We want to help people achieve in their lives. We in general, the average speaker feels a calling to help other people achieve. And so it's very akin to teaching. It's very akin to preaching. It's a common goal to connect with others in a group and get them relatively quickly advanced in their lives.
I like that. So the 4 E's: eloquence, enterprise, expertise,
Ethics.
ethics. I love that.
And ethics is going to be huge the next 10 years.
I believe that. I want to talk a little bit about expertise.
Okay.
The reason I want to talk about that, Carl, is because I think a lot of people believe that the professional speaking industry is glamorous, it's full of a lot of money to be made, and they can just get out there and speak about something they know nothing about. And in my opinion, that's being unprepared. I mean, knowledge is very powerful.
Oh, sure.
It's very powerful. But you have to either have some type of life experience in that area,
Right.
or you have trained yourself in that area of expertise.
That's fair. Understand that you're there to help other people move forward.
Right.
For you to do that, you need to have something that they want.
Correct.
It could be an explanation for how they see the world. It could be a story about a common experience that will help them process it better. It could also be some technical thing.
Correct.
There's a real parallel between professional speaking and teaching.
Yes.
Let me take it from a slightly different angle.
Okay.
Let me tell them,
Yes.
if someone is sitting there and saying, well, I can't speak about anything, I'm just a normal person.
Oh, everybody has a story.
Exactly. So if you can figure out what sets your life apart, what makes you different
Who you
in
are.
some way,
Right.
and then what audience would resonate with that,
Amen.
then you can bridge the gap. And understand there's a real hunger for a good story.
Knowledge, yeah.
And well told. There has been this recent growth, for instance, in what are called TED Talks.
Yes, yes.
Does anyone know what TED stands for? It actually stands for Technology, Education, and Design.
Love it.
It came out of a small conference, but there's a hunger for people who can explain something interesting quickly in an entertaining way.
Love that.
There's the core of the platform skills.
Excellent.
And if somebody is sitting at home thinking, I'm a mid-level person at a bank, what have I ever done? Well, look at the results of what you've done. You've helped people build houses. You've helped people change their lives. Maybe that's
right.
a topic.
That's right.
So if I were to sit down, and I do this quite often, coach people on, someone sticks their hand up and said, I'd like to try some of this speaking that you do, but I don't have the stories you do. I said, well, yes, you do. You just haven't paid attention.
Amen.
And so one of the things we do with the National Speakers Group is help each other with our stories, where someone will come in and tell this hilarious story of what happened at the coffee shop, and someone sticks their hand up and says, when are you going to work that into your next presentation? I never thought of that.
Amen. Exactly. Let me ask you a question. If you had to give the top 3 criteria for what makes an excellent speaker, what would you say that would be?
3 things. Okay, understand, there's like 3 different kinds of talks. There's a motivational talk.
Amen. That's
There's a
right.
humorous talk.
Okay.
And then there's a how-to talk.
Okay.
Okay, so each of those are going to be different.
Right.
In general, big criteria, it has to be something the audience wants to hear. It has to be something that there's a resonance.
So basically know your audience.
Then it has to be something that is part of the future. I'm real big on a presentation generally should move the audience forward. And so to me, a good presentation includes a glimpse into the future. What's coming next? Where should we go? This is the motivational part of
A glimpse into their future or just the future overall? Okay.
Depends. That's a good question, but depends overall. And then finally, it has to have some humor.
Okay.
People like appropriate humor to carry any message, even a tough message.
Okay, I like that.
Think about a funeral you've been to where the mood was elevated by an appropriate use, briefly, of humor at a funeral.
That's true.
Okay.
That's right.
So those are the
I've heard that done recently. Carl, oh my goodness, you are just awesome. You're amazing. You are full of knowledge. You're just an expert at this. We are going to take another quick break and we're going to be right back because we have more coming up on Living by Design. Welcome back to Living by Design and welcome back to a powerful conversation about how to become a great professional speaker. Now we have Carl and Pam here with us. Hi guys.
Hey.
I want to talk about something that is extremely important for all professional speakers, the fee structure. You can start first, Carl. What are your thoughts about what should you charge? How should you structure your fee? Should you speak for free? If so, when should you do it? So just address some of those.
Well, understand, I work in an environment where there's a lot of flexibility. So the first response is, how much do you charge? Well, it depends. If it's a not-for-profit that I believe in, then it's different. Pam has a friend, Barbara Glanz, who charges differently if what, Pam?
Oh, she has a discount she gives called her grandma fee. And so if she flies to where her grandchildren live, she will give the client a little bit of a discount because it's something that she can put both family and business together.
I love that. That is so cool. So it's because we talked about the 4 E's in the previous segment, and ethics was one of them. Mm-hmm. So it's the NSA unspoken rule, or it's in,
it's a spoken rule.
Yes, exactly. It's a spoken rule. It's in the criteria that the fee structure should be the same across the board. And what are some of the special things you could do if you don't get the fee that you typically charge, if their budget is below what you charge?
Well, what I like doing, if they have some money and have said, we want to value your presentation, so here is an honorarium.
Right.
I happily accept that and donate it to either their foundation or food bank or the charity of our choice,
right?
So that there is an honorarium, but it's redirected to where it can do some good.
And you can also ask for other things that also count as, value to you. If you have a book,
a trade show booth, where my organization would have to be paying for the trade show booth, and in lieu of an honorarium, we can get that booth for free. That might be worth $1,000.
Amen. Or they buy a book for everyone in the audience or everyone who's going to attend or something like that. Okay.
Or I want the email list and contact point of everybody in the audience.
Yes.
So I can follow up with them.
That's good information. Very good. Anything else you have to add, Pam?
Well, I'd mentioned to you at the break that I have a friend by the name of Connie Podesta, and she talks about either fee, because of fee integrity,
right?
Free, if it's something that's close to your heart and you want to be able to speak for a non-for-profit, for instance,
right.
Or flee.
Yes.
And the idea there is you are a paid professional speaker, and when you look at other people in different organizations, if you look at people who are a doctor, dentist, whatever other profession, they don't do work for free. They may donate their services for a charity group, but you wouldn't expect to call a doctor's office and say, gee, I'd like professional courtesy. I'd like to come in for free.
Right.
And so we also as a speaker need to say we are a paid professional and we do bring value and we're here to solve your problems, and that's worth something.
Right.
Whatever it is they are willing to pay, and if it fits within your fee integrity, your fee structure.
And that's one of the things I love about the local NSA chapters. The local chapter teaches you how to set those fees and teaches you how to go out there and market your business and market yourself. I mean, if you go to an organization and they say, well, we don't really know how much we could pay you. We've got a budget, but you are responsible for letting them know how valuable you are and what you bring to the table and how you can impact their audience. That's up to you.
We at the local level will bring in nationally known speakers.
That's right.
And they would be covering any one of those 4 areas, the 4 E's that we talked about, and would be helping us understand how to market, how to set a fee structure, how to maybe do a 3-layer approach depending upon what the budget is and how to fit it in and some of the trade show and or books or sales that we mentioned earlier.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a sliding scale. I'm fortunate to be on the program committee of a major local conference, and so I'm helping select the speakers and agree on the fee structure for those speakers. And it's interesting where if someone has an expertise that I really want to bring to this conference, it's going to be a smaller concurrent session, but I'm willing to pay them to get them here, as opposed to some local free speakers who are hoping to sell other things just by being there.
Right.
Then there is the mid-level stage where I have a certain level of speaking fee to bring in an early career national speaker. And then there's the main stage, opening and closing the conference, where we want someone who is instantly recognizable, who has brand recognition and books and New York Times bestsellers.
Exactly.
And for that, you write the big check.
That's right. That's
So
right.
there's a sliding scale. Where do you fit in it?
Well, and when you are negotiating those fees with the organization, one of the things that's always possible to do, if they want you to come in and do a keynote, but they don't have the budget that fits your fee schedule, you can also offer to do something additional. Perhaps you volunteer to do a workshop or a concurrent session, either the same day or a different day, or you're able to package some other services, maybe some follow-up consulting or coaching with some of their employees, or for an association, some of their member organizations. And that way you're able then to bring value and have it fit within their, because then they're paying you for 2 speakers, if you will.
And I've written an article for their newsletter.
Now, I have to give both of your websites. Carl, let's begin with you. Well,
Okay.
no, ladies first, ladies first.
Oh, well, thank you.
Pam Speaks. So your website is, you go ahead.
My website is actually pamspeaks.com.
Okay.
Easy.
And I loved it so much, I said, well, I should have Ulrichs, or Carl Ulrich Speaks. No one can spell that. So mine is expertspeaks.com.
Okay. And both of those websites are on your screen. So if you want to hire either one of these amazing individuals, let me tell you.
Or get involved in the local chapter, please reach out.
Absolutely.
And let me give my phone number too.
Please do.
Either if someone's interested in hiring a speaker, wants a recommendation for another speaker, because I'm often recommending many other speakers.
Awesome.
Or if someone wants more information about NSA nationally or NSA at the local level, my phone number is 317-595-9151. Again, that's 317-595-9151. You're welcome to call me.
And that information is on your screen. Please write it down and please take advantage of it. Now, again, you can't just jump into being an NSA member. You know, you have to go through the criteria to be accepted into the organization, but you can visit as a, you know, as
Welcome as a guest.
As a guest, exactly. Again, I'm going to ask you to just quickly say, you know, because we're running down on time, but just quickly say the criteria to become a member is that you have to meet
One of 3 criteria.
Okay.
The first of which is either 20 paid speaking engagements annually, or $25,000 annually minimum in speaking fees. Again, that's not product sales, but speaking fees, or to be the paid professional representative or spokesperson for a business, a foundation, or an association.
So if you don't meet that criteria, then our recommendation for everyone out there who's listening is to join Toastmasters.
And to come to NSA as a guest.
And to come to NSA as a guest, absolutely. And then you can see what's going on, you can see the help, and you can understand what you need to start your business, because we want you to live by design. Guys, thank you so much. You have just
Thanks
been
for having us.
absolutely awesome.
Delightful. Thank you so much.
Yes, a wealth of knowledge, and we're going to have you back. We really are going to have you back.
Excellent.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Living by Design. If you want to be a professional speaker, you have it from the experts. So we thank you, and we will definitely see you next week for another empowering episode.